Hello! Gao Zhen He, a gym hunter, miraculously survives a gruesome accident and barely gets out of his mangled car. He can hardly catch his breath after the shock, when suddenly, a stranger starts shooting at his car with a crossbow. Gao manages to force his attacker to show himself and is amazed to see an odd-looking girl in front of him. Gao decides she was sent by his enemies, who were chasing him the day before, and tries to pay off his attacker with money, but in return, gets hit in the face with a heavy stone. Gao loses consciousness from the blow, and upon waking up, he finds himself in a virtually primitive world where women rule over men. Gao is desperately trying to figure out where he is and how to escape, when he discovers that there is a unique gem in the village. To obtain it, he intends to trick the tribal queen into marrying him and escape with the loot on the wedding night. After yet another night of partying, Gao Zhen notices that he is being followed. He says goodbye to his friends and business partners, Shang and Ken Shu, to avoid dragging them into a confrontation with armed bandits who want to steal a rare emerald from him. Gao deliberately provokes the pursuers to chase him and immediately rushes away from them through the night streets of the city. On a dark, winding country road, a truck unexpectedly drives towards him. To avoid a head-on collision, Gao sharply turns off the road, and his car gets swept away into the roadside bushes, behind which there is a high cliff. The hero regains consciousness in a primitive hut in the company of an eccentric stranger who introduces herself as the queen of the Star River tribe, Xing Yue. Shocked by this statement and by Xing's unusual appearance, Gao rushes out of the hut and is surprised to discover an entire primitive village outside. He assumes the whole thing is a reality show and ridicules the queen, her attire, and her surroundings. For this disrespectful behavior, the queen puts the hero into a wooden cage with a fire pit beneath it. Gao desperately begs for freedom, but Xing remains adamant. Locked in a cage, Gao amuses himself by observing the inhabitants. He quickly realizes that the men here are housekeepers, and the women hunt for birds and wildlife, except for one lady in a strange outfit, who turns out to be the local astrologer, Yun He. The woman tells the hero that he is very lucky to be alive after crossing through the mystical forest that protects the village. Moreover, since he was able to wake up in this mysterious place after a 4-day coma, he should stay here forever under the protection of Queen Xing Yue, who soon appears beside them with a bowl of water for the prisoner. Realizing that he can only escape from the tribe of armed women by using his cunning rather than force, Gao tells the queen a pitiful story and convinces her to let him out of his cage to go to his car. Upon reaching the wrecked car, Gao convinces Xing that it's a ferocious monster that can only be tamed through a special dance. He makes the naive girl repeat the simple movements, while he takes a bat out of the trunk to hit the girl on the head with it. Gao is about to execute his plan when Xing turns around and catches him by surprise, causing Gao to pretend that he's protecting the queen from the terrifying monster. He swings the bat ferociously and eventually hits the girl on the head, knocking her unconscious. Taking advantage of the moment, Gao grabs his backpack and escapes, but his compass refuses to work in the depths of the mystical forest. As Gao is decisively making his way through the thicket, he suddenly hears desperate screams from the car crash site. After a second's hesitation, the hero rushes to the call. It turns out that the fuel tank has caught fire, and defenseless Xing is surrounded by deadly fire. Yun He and the women of the village try to rescue her, but to no avail. After dousing himself in water to protect against the heat, Gao bravely walks through the lane of fire and saves the girl from danger at the last moment before the car explodes. Later, he regains consciousness in the same hut and immediately rushes to apologize to Xing. To avoid being suspected of arson and trying to escape, the cunning guy manages to convince the good-natured queen of his innocence. In the evening, under the light of a flashlight, Gao disassembles his backpack and finds his cell phone, which he manages to turn on, but his hope of connecting to the outside world is shattered as there is no cellular reception. Out of boredom, the hero decides to listen to some music, and at the unfamiliar sound, Xing bursts into the room looking for another monster. Gao explains to the queen that the phone will do no harm and takes out his headphones so they can listen to music together. Xing is clearly mesmerized by what is happening, and Gao takes advantage of the moment to try to learn from her how to get out of the village. But the girl, lulled by the music, falls asleep without hearing his questions. After putting the girl to bed, he searches the room and unexpectedly finds an untreated gemstone in one of the caskets. Immediately after waking up the next morning, Gao wants to make sure that he has found the real treasure and takes it outside to examine the gem in the sunlight. Xing Yue catches him doing this, and the sly man lies about being hungry and discovering the gem while trying to find food. In response, the naive girl takes back the star gem, which she once received as a gift from her mother, and offers Gao a snack. But the self-serving guy is already thinking of how he will steal the treasure and wonders if there are any deposit fields in the vicinity of the village. To find out, he lures the gullible Xing to the hills under the pretext of taking pictures on his smartphone. However, an examination of the area yields no results, and an exhausted Gao returns to the hut with Xing. The hero does not abandon his cunning plan to steal the queen's star gem and continues to charm the girl, planning to make her noodles that he found in his backpack. Xing, meanwhile, examines its contents with interest and discovers items that are unfamiliar to her, including a packet of jelly beans, which turns out to be sleeping pills, and Gao stops the girl's attempt to eat them. The smell of cooked noodles thrills the queen, but Gao doesn't simply give the treat to Xing, making her answer questions in exchange for the mouth-watering food.
你告诉我，星星石是只有你有，还是其他人都有？
It turns out that only the queen has the star gem. The hero realizes that it was brought from the outside world, and looking for anything valuable in the village is useless. While the queen happily eats noodles, Gao comes up with another idea. In his backpack is the book The Little Prince, and the hero offers it to Xing in exchange for the star gem. He tells her that it's also a gift from his mother. It is very dear to him, and that he can only entrust the book to the person closest to him. Continuing this performance, Gao reads the book for Xing and offers to exchange it again, but the queen persistently refuses and tells him that the only possible way to get the stone is to become the queen's husband. Meanwhile, in the outside world, Shang and Qin Shu continue their futile attempts to find their friend for more than a week after the day he disappeared. In their efforts to find Gao's enemies, they come across the trail of a certain treasure hunter with whom the hero has had conflict. Gao himself is in the village contemplating his escape plan, as in some time he must strike a big deal and could cause big problems for his partners if he doesn't show up on time. The trickster takes one last desperate step and agrees to become the queen's man in order to steal the gem and escape with it, because according to the contract with Lian, he must fulfill its conditions within 15 days. The hero's fears are justified. During this time, the formidable Lian appears at his home, where Shang and Qin Shu are, and demands to know where to look for Gao. The pair try to evade answering, and the stern guest gives them a short deadline of 48 hours to find the guy, or else his contract will be cancelled with an obligation to pay a penalty of $60 million.
要么见钱，要么见人。
Gao himself, greedily looking at the box with the star gem, once again contemplates escape. He comes up with an ingenious idea. He asks Xing to show him the wine they will be drinking at the wedding the next day. After sneaking into the tribe's food warehouse, he discreetly pours all his sleeping pills into the barrel. On the eve of his wedding, Gao has a nightmare. He breathes heavily, repeatedly calls for his mother, and finally wakes up screaming. Xing gently comforts her groom, and to cheer him up, takes the star gem out of the box and gives it to him, promising to watch over her beloved for the rest of the night. Xing leaves. Left alone, the distraught guy silently squeezes the cherished loot in the palm of his hand. The morning of the wedding day, Gao reads aloud the story of the little prince to Xing. The couple associates themselves with the characters in the story. Xing is the rose, and Gao is the little fox. Upon finishing the reading, the hero thanks the queen for her gift, the gemstone, and gives the girl his present, the book. Upon opening it, the girl sees a small card, Gao's business card, and realizes that her fiancé's name is written on it. In the evening, the tribe gathers for a wedding ceremony. The bride and groom perform a fiery dance to the cheers of the crowd and under the supervision of the strict Zhen He. Wishing the newlyweds happiness and prosperity, all the guests eagerly drink the wine, except for the groom. He discreetly spills the drink over his shoulder, and soon after the peaceful festivities, the village falls asleep under the influence of sleeping pills. Gao changes into his normal clothes and is about to flee. However, he has managed to develop feelings for Queen Xing and comes up to her to say goodbye.
再见了，我的玫瑰小姐。
In the night, the hero sets out on a dangerous journey through the mystical forest. His disappearance in the tribe is only discovered in the morning, and the enraged, deceived queen orders an immediate search for him. The exhausted Gao, meanwhile, finally reaches the mysterious cave that leads to the outside world and enters a dark tunnel. Fear and despair overwhelm him along the way, but Gao finds the strength to get up and move on. Soon, he emerges into the daylight and realizes that he is in the outside world. In the meantime, Shang and Qin Shu are once again visited by the formidable Lian. The deadline she had set for finding Gao had expired, and the guest has come to demand the legal penalty, knowing that the hero's partners are unable to pay $60 million. The prudent Lian has prepared a contract to transfer Gao's property into her possession, namely, the house in which they reside. The woman demands that Shang sign the contract because she is the only possible heir in the event of Gao's tragic death, but the girl desperately resists. Lian's henchmen force her to leave an imprint on the paper, and suddenly, a disheveled Gao bursts into the house to put an end to this mess. Calmed by his arrival, Lian and her subordinate bandits leave, left alone with his friends. Gao goes to the bathroom without giving a reason for his sudden disappearance. At this time, the queen of the Star River tribe, Xing, is absent-mindedly leafing through the book Gao had left behind. Despite her resentment and anger, the girl misses her beloved and declares to Zhen He her firm decision to go in search of him into the outside world. After a delicious lunch, Gao decides to tell his friends about his precious find. He takes them to his home laboratory, where he shows them the star gem he stole from Xing Yue. The loot turns out to be a rare star sapphire, something no gem hunter has seen in years. To be completely sure, Gao gives the stone to Shang to confirm its authenticity, as well as soil from the cliff for laboratory examination. Zhen He guides Xing Yue through the mysterious cave to the outside world. The astrologer gives the queen important instructions before letting her embark on this dangerous adventure. Not to reveal the location of the cave to anyone, and moreover, to return home immediately if people in the outside world start questioning Xing about the star gem. After listening to the instructions, Xing sets off and climbs up the cliff, and a car happens to be parked nearby. As Gao once taught her, she plans to tame the crazy beast and starts dancing. She is caught doing this by the owner of the car, Ichi, an astrologer who is building a career in the streaming industry and is on the lookout for the perfect anchorwoman. After taking a closer look at Xing, the guy sees her as a great candidate for his show and is ready to sign a contract when he suddenly realizes that the eccentric girl also knows a lot about astrology. At this time, Gao, Shang, and Qinshu visit Uncle Wei at a boarding house. The hero does so for his own self-serving purposes and at Lian's behest, but still behaves in a caring and friendly manner and always gives gifts to his uncle and his close friends. Ichi manages to become friends with Xing, and the guy wants to sign a contract with the primitive girl. When asked who he should contact to do so, Xing gives him Gao Zhen He's business card. Ichi manages to reach the hero, but he mistakes the call for another offer from the moneylenders and hangs up. However, Ichi does get a clue during the conversation. A female voice in the background mentions the Aihe boarding house, and the couple goes there. Meanwhile, at the boarding house, Gao and his friends put on a costume show for the patients. The guy performs in a clown mask, just as Xing and her new acquaintance shows up. After recognizing the queen of the Star River tribe, the hero hastily escapes, and later, after picking up his friends, flees with them out the back door. After driving a safe distance away, Gao nevertheless instructs Qinshu to track the location of the streamer's phone, so he knows where his pursuers are. Xing Yue, frustrated at not being able to find her beloved, stays at the boarding house. The girl flatly refuses to leave, even despite the pouring rain.
真倔，白羊座吧你？
你才白羊座呢。
Gao, after receiving the streamer's coordinates, returns to the boarding house after all. When he sees Xing, he decides to take her away and brings her to his house, where the deceived queen immediately charges at him with accusations in front of stunned Shang and Qinshu. Shang, who doesn't understand what's going on and has a secret crush on Gao, tries to pay Xing off and hands the girl a check. But to deal with his problem on his own, Gao sends both his friends and the streamer, who shows up on the doorstep, continuing to chase a contract with Xing, away. Gao, just like on the first day they met, finds himself in the sights of the queen's crossbow. The angry girl demands back the gemstone, but the cunning man manages to evade her demand by diverting her attention to a sweet cake, a treat yet unknown to her, which Xing immediately pounces on. Gao takes advantage of the moment to call Shang and find out the results of the stone evaluation, and is horrified to learn that she allowed the experts to smash it. The hero is forced to end the conversation urgently because of Xing Yue shouting from the first floor. Upon coming downstairs, the guy is terrified to see a catastrophic mess and the perpetrator of the incident with a cart from the aquarium in her hands, which she intended to eat. The hero reprimands the primitive queen and takes her to the bedroom, where he explains that in the outside world, there is no need to attack everything that seems unfamiliar or use the crossbow for defense. He promises the girl that he will personally protect her from everything that might frighten her. As always, you'll find the name of the TV series in the video description. Meanwhile, let us know in the comments, what fate do you think awaits the star gem in the end? And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so that more awesome stories come out as often as possible.